Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Trader Talk Radio, the original show. Lovely to have you all in the room. And without further ado, I am going to be straight away welcoming the wonderful Mr. Jeff Pine. How's it going, Mr. Jeff Pine?
G'day, Ms. Chloe. I'm going very, very well. How's your good self?
Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Thank you.
That's the shots. I trust everything is well in your wonderful world of creativity. No, creationism. What is the word for that?
Procreation.
Yeah, well, there is that. That's the start of it. Yes. How's it going, mate? Everything good?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Getting bigger and bigger. Can't imagine another 6 weeks worth of getting even bigger, but I guess that's what's going to happen.
Do you know what I can't imagine? I can't imagine you big. It just doesn't work for me.
I'm not big everywhere, Jeff. Just
No,
just in the
I'm
belly
sure.
area.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there is indeed. Yes.
There's also a reason why the market should have moved 100 million miles overnight. But frankly, we had little breakouts all over the place, but I don't see a big trend changer. How about yourself?
Yeah, I was curious about that when I logged on to my platform this morning, and I saw that really pretty much nothing has happened on any of the
ho hum.
I'm looking at, which is a bit of a boring outcome. But
yeah, look,
there we go.
I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really perturb me too much because we've still got ranges, we've still got breakouts. They're all going to come.
All
they're
good
all going
for
to go.
You, yeah.
So,
how about you grab the screen and take us through what you're looking at?
We managed to find a couple of these breakouts, and we managed also to take some profit on a few of them as well, which is obviously a good thing, but I'm just not sure they're going to continue. And that's the question mark I have around everything. Euro dollar is one of those. And I've been for the longest time telling everybody that these three little rising Indians here, I call them three little Indians, are going to break to the low side. And if that was going to happen, it was probably going to happen with the FOMC statement. But alas, we still find ourselves at this level here being rejected. What happens next? Absolutely no idea. Can't help it. But all I can do is say the structure still exists, and it's been going on for a little while now. That's the daily chart we're looking at. So I've got to say I'm expecting maybe we go back to 119 again. To trade that, of course, we're going to require a higher low or something that absolutely suits us as a trade setup. But at the moment, sorry, there's nothing doing. Aussie had some good news today, as did, I think, the pound had some good news. Oh, that's coming out right now, actually, as we speak. So I'm not sure what's going on there. We'll catch up with that a little bit later, I suppose.
We never get good news on the pound, Jeff.
You think that's not going to happen anytime soon, Chloe? Well, hang on a minute. Let's refresh my my chart here and see what it was. Well, nothing from the news point of view, but perhaps the MPC's summary and statement means something. I don't know, but certainly there's no change. Nobody's voting for change in terms of the interest rate or the bank rate, so that's no surprise there. But yeah, it is tough to think that the pound's going to rally and rally substantially, but it is as low as it can go almost. So you've got to take that into account as well. And the market will do what the market does. And the market says it's undervalued, then they're going to buy the pound. I can't argue with that. And we're not even there yet. I'm at the Aussie. And the Aussie for me is still under pressure. There's the news event, I guess, that drove it from the 72.5 mark back up to the 73 mark. But I notice it's come off that so far since London session open. I'm just not sure, to be fair, and I haven't got a huge confidence level in what the dollar's doing. So I think I'm still pointed towards trading minors rather than majors. And if we're talking about the pound, there's exactly the case in point. Right now, it's okay. Big breakout of the weekly pivot. Let's go, guys. Oh, hang on a minute. No. Sorry, we're not ready yet. Or are we ready at all? And let's drive it back down again. So there's no consistency as far as I can see in that Fed announcement. Pardon me, overnight has really done, as we said from the outset, not a whole lot. And now we're seeing a little bit of down pressure on the pound right now on the 4-hour chart. So it's very, very tough to be trading with or against the US dollar right now. And I think for that reason, and as I've said many, many times over the last couple of months, I think it's well steered clear of. That said, I think it's under extreme pressure with the yen, because the yen, for whatever reason, and I guess not being a fundamentalist at heart, nor in my mind either, it makes sense to me, because we've now got a new leader in Japan, that there's going to be a little bit of a honeymoon period. And that's generally the case when you get a new leader. And I think the yen is rallying on the back of that. And for that reason, I was very, very bearish. Pairs against the yen, US dollar included. We've managed to pick up a TP1 on US dollar yen short. We've managed to pick up a TP1, and if you want, you can take a TP2, guys, on Swissy yen if you're in that trade as well. And Euro yen ditto. Well, we haven't actually reached TP1. I was a little bit ambitious on TP1 with Euro yen, but I think those three pairs in particular have got huge potential as we go into the next phase, if you like, of Japanese prime ministerialship or leadership, shall I put it that way. Until proven otherwise, these guys are going to have a honeymoon period. So for that reason, I think the yen is a pretty good value bet, if you like, to the high side. That said, there is a fairly distinct potential for this to go not that much lower, because there is a strong level through here. Maybe it's here. It's in a very close proximity to where we are, which is why I would suggest, if you're in this trade with me, to take profit pretty soon, because this has got potential to bounce in the opposite direction if that honeymoon period doesn't last more than a couple of days. So yeah, I'm not super confident, but if this honeymoon period does go for a little bit, then I think we can come down and challenge those lows, and that's the basis upon which I have traded this short, apart from the fact that we're at a nice little level. And I'm bearish the euro. Hang on, is there another reason? There may well be. All of that said, let's go to euro pound. And I don't know if many of you would have been in the shows that I've been in for the last, I don't know, however long it is, 2 months, 3 months maybe. We've been trying to catch this big sell-off of euro pound. And every time we get into it, we manage to get a little bit in the bank, and then we go, woof, no, not yet. Then we come down and we go, woof, not yet. This one's interesting because it has taken out all the recent highs. And when I say recent highs, we're going back right through the year, basically, to when our good old friend COVID-19 hit the airwaves and put us into this incredible situation that we now live in, I guess. The consolidation period that has followed is pronounced and significant, which makes me think maybe that breakout is also significant. But then I pull it back into Brexit and all of those nasty little things that have been hounding both the euro and the pound over the past 5 years, it is nearly 5 years, come back and suggest to me, wow, where do you get the certainty here? The only certainty that I do see is that the pound is indeed versus the euro undervalued, and for that reason, and if you look at this chart here, which is the monthly chart, you can see that we don't like it up here. It's not a good place to be. And I'm going back to this is what was that thing called, the global financial crisis, where we went mad for a while and then dipped down, but we've been unable to strike a positive level above that, what, 93 cent mark, or is it P mark? I'm not sure how they measure that, but anyway, it'll be against the dollar, so it'll be a cent. I find this incredibly graphic in that we've only been there once above that level, and that was potentially as a result of well, maybe it wasn't because it was a little bit pre-GFC. So I'll put that back in my mouth and not make that comment. But certainly we've been unable to get above that level since GFC happened. Why would I think that would change now? Well, I don't, frankly, because I don't see why 12 years down the track we should now break that level. Okay, Brexit thrown in, global financial crisis notwithstanding, Brexit thrown in, coronavirus thrown in. Yeah, okay, there's a few reasons why it could, but I don't see that. So I'm still a bear euro pound, and every opportunity that I get to trade it short, I'm going to do that. At the moment, I'm sweating on this trade line. Didn't quite close below it, which is really annoying, because had we had to close below that and then the retest of it, I'd be more than happy to go short. We're going to have to wait, and I think that's probably the disease of a trader. You just have to put up with that. It's like having the cold, isn't it? Wait till you get over it, and then jump up and have a party or something like that. And that's pretty much where I'm at. So euro pound, I'm sweating on, but it's going to take some time. I'm quite hopeful that we'll continue to see downside in anything versus the yen at the moment, and that's pretty much where I'll position myself. I've got one trade that's in trouble at the moment. It's Aussie Swiss, and I'm actually encouraged, frankly, because we had positive Aussie news today. We've also seen 1, 2, 3, and potentially now 4 rejections of a level, which is at the top of our range. So all I need now is really a significant lower high here in a rejection bar, and I think this is a sell once again. Aussie Swissy, interesting because I'm so bearish Swissy yen, and we've had a fair bit of success in the last 24 hours or so on Swissy yen. It kind of looks like a hedge, but I don't see it that way, because I think the Aussie has every reason, other than that good news today, to come off its highs. And I also think that we've got every reason, the whole world, that is, or the market, to be in a risk-off situation. If that's the case, then the Aussie won't be in favour and the Swissy will be, or should be. Let me put a caveat on that. Both of them should be in the opposite direction. So for that reason, I think that this is still a perfectly good trade to be in. I will be proven wrong, of course, if these highs are taken out, and I'm very, very seriously considering bringing my stop down to that area, so that if I am wrong, it's not going to cost me too much. So there you go. I don't have any immediate trades, Chloe, I've got to say, but I'm pretty confident that the yen will continue to strengthen, and I'm reasonably keen to get back short euro pound, and I'm reasonably convinced that I should steer clear of the dollar or the majors at the moment, because the dollar is just so untrustworthy. So I guess not a lot has changed for me in that regard. I haven't trusted the dollar for the longest time, and I think that's still going to be the case. The one thing I do hold fast to is the yen is going to be stronger than the dollar for quite some time. And for that reason, go, dollar yen short.
Good stuff, Jeff. Dollar yen short is also something that we can look out for on the income creator strategy. So,
are you in yet?
I'm not actually. I'm not in. I'm just waiting for a retracement. Well, I'll grab the screen, in fact, and show you what I'm waiting for.
Happy days.
Happy days. Well, thank you very much for that, Jeff. Always fantastic
You're welcome,
to
mate.
have you along. And you have got the US session show later, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, I'll check into you and Big O's show briefly before that, but we're about an hour or so away from there. Yep.
All right. Well, I will speak to you in an hour then, Jeff.
Happy days, Chloe. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Speak soon. All right. So I'm just going to briefly grab the screen. And yes, I'll show you what I'm looking at in terms of income creator. So dollar yen, this is the daily time frame here. And in terms of a daily trade, well, nothing really to get into. We need to be very patient for that. But because price is heading down and the outlook, as Jeff said, is pretty bearish on dollar yen, i.e. Yen strength coming into play. That means that on any time frame, I am simply looking for entry opportunities. Here was the last opportunity available on income creator strategy. We had this previous low over here, followed by what was a high test bar here. So that would have been the previous entry. We are just looking like breaking to new lows here, just getting to new lows, which means the trend continues in terms of technical trend, lower highs, lower lows. And therefore, all I'm doing is waiting for another retracement and another opportunity to get into the market. So dollar yen, definitely one on an intraday basis that I'm looking to get into. The other things that I'm looking to get into on an intraday basis, the pound pairs. Well, the pound has seen a reasonably significant move just now. So the pound pairs 4 hourly is really where I have been seeing the opportunities. A lot of these pound pairs have got the daily pivots in the way of previous price action, but pound against the US dollar, not so much so. So I'm going to just wait and see how this 4 hourly bar closes here to see whether that may turn up an entry. But in the meantime, any of these lower time frames, 15-minute, for example, I'll be looking for a retracement and an opportunity to enter. Some of the other pound pairs actually look a lot better than this. So pound Kiwi, for example, there was a bounce at the weekly pivot just now. So that is definitely something that would be on my radar to look out for. Again, as I said, we've got the daily pivot here. So now that price has broken down beneath the daily pivot, one option could be to go down to the lower time frames. Of course, always starting at the 15-minute when I'm looking at retracements, because the 15-minute is the time frame that will retrace the quickest, obviously. For a test of that weekly daily pivot, and then a continued move down. So that's what I'm looking for there. Pound Swiss is another one that is looking bearish at the moment. We've got a nice horizontal level that price is just retesting. It's a shame really that yesterday's bar came up so high. Yesterday's bar was so bullish that it did put me off trading somewhat to the downside. So any trades I see here are going to be reduced risk. But again, we've got price now back below the weekly pivot, back below the daily pivot. And I'm just going to be waiting to see if I can get any short entries from around the daily pivot area. Looks like I'm going to have to be patient. The other option, of course, could be waiting for a retest of the weekly pivot. That's going to be a little bit more of an advanced style of trading, because we don't really want to be trading directly into a daily pivot on an intraday time frame. But the weekly pivot has been good support over here. I would love to see a retest of that, and then I would definitely be looking for a potential move to the downside. And pound Aussie, that's another one that is on my watch list for a move to the downside. Now, I will just say that all of these pound opportunities if I do take them. And again, there was another 4-hourly trade, which has already triggered, so it's not an option to take right now, but it has brought price beneath the daily pivot. So again, I'll be looking for a retracement back up and a short opportunity, or as I said earlier, a retracement back up to this level here. This is the level that was support around about the weekly pivot, but not quite as high as the weekly pivot. It was support. Price is now smashed through there. A retracement back up to that level for me would be a perfect place to be looking for a short opportunity. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there and whether any of that sets up. One other thing that I'm looking at is CAD Swiss. Now I'm looking at CAD Swiss really because price is so close to the monthly pivot, and I want to know if price is going to break below the monthly pivot. So if price does break below the monthly pivot, then I will be bearish, because that will give me my lower high beneath the monthly pivot, beneath this area here. That will then give me a lower low, and I'll be looking to trade short down towards the monthly S1, perhaps even further, maybe even making it down to these previous lows on an intraday time frame. That would be really high reward to risk. So that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, price isn't really that close to the monthly pivot right now. So if you are interested in looking out for that, it might be worth just setting an alert down there, just in case price does end up turning around, coming back to the monthly pivot, and only then do you need to have a look to see if there are any trades setting up. And the last thing that I want to look at is Aussie dollar. Now, Aussie dollar, I am still looking out for long opportunities. The trend is very sluggish. We've just had a high test bar yesterday, so it's not looking particularly bullish in the long term. But in terms of the trend, I'm definitely looking for long opportunities. So this is something, and it goes against the income creator rules of trading, but this is something that I'm actually looking at on the 30-minute time frame at the moment. So I'm just going to wait until the bottom of the hour to see if there is a setup there. Those are the things that I'm looking out for on income creator on an intraday basis. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Lloyd, and he'll take us through what he's looking at on 4-hourly Wave Rider. How's it going, Lloyd?
Hi, Chloe. I'm having a bit of a fun this week. I'm having some fun with currency strength meter. I thought it was quite effectively lazy way for me to trade. So I'm still exploring it, but yeah, have some positive results.
We like lazy trading. That is the best kind of trading, I think.
Yeah, I would like to think of myself as a very efficient, lazy trader. Okay, so let me grab the screen and see what's up. Okay. And I can't grab the screen. Zoom doesn't like. I guess you have to enable the screen sharing. Let me see.
Okay, I think I've done that now.
Thank you, Chloe. All right, so evening, guys. There are some pairs which I'm looking with together with the same as Chloe. Chief among them is actually CAD Swiss. Yeah, so that will be the same outlook. You can see that price has been hugging around the monthly pivot quite a fair bit. So essentially what I'm waiting for is for price, retrace, come here, break. So I'm waiting for the break and retest before actually going for short positions. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking out for CAD Swiss. Okay. Where did it come from? All right. Odd Swiss, I'm also looking for a opportunity to go for short position on the Aussie pairs. Yeah, unfortunately now it seems to be it's a fair bit of distance away from the monthly pivot, but essentially should still be the same kind of movement. Yeah, so price is actually above the weekly pivot now. Unfortunately, I can't trade from the weekly pivot because it's just too near to the MP. Yeah, so essentially what I'm still waiting for is for break of monthly pivot, a retest before I go short. Now Aussie yen, this would be a bit of unique. So let me highlight the whole area. sorry for the messiness. Yeah. So you can see that price, essentially this would be a good horizontal zone to keep a lookout for. You can see that price actually bounced off in the past, just last week, and now currently. From the cyclicity, you can see that price already have pretty consistent lower high. So what I'm waiting for, again, pretty much same thing for price to break, retest, and then for me to go short again. Yeah, so day in, day out, I'm still looking for the same kind of chart pattern. No, I mean, I would say chart movement. Yeah, so nothing really out of the blue. Cat Swiss already been through that, waiting for price to break monthly pivot again for me to go short. At this stage, from the 4-hour position, it's quite hard for me to go for a long. Previously, we do have an established long uptrend for a couple of weeks. Yeah, but as long as it didn't give me a higher low, I can't. So my current bias is for me to go short, pending a monthly pivot break. Now, Euro Pound actually at I've been waiting for this for a whole week. Yeah, so you can see that this is a very, very nice horizontal level. Just got a bit of adjustment, but nevertheless, it's just that price has bounced off on ENA on a horizontal level, so I'm prepared to actually go for long positions. Yeah. So as long as the bar is still as bullish in 90 minutes time. So that's Euro Pound for the heads up. Pound Aussie, I missed out the earlier candle. This will actually be a really nice candle to trade. Unfortunately, I'm out having my very, very long high T. Yeah, otherwise this would really be a nice candle to trade. Yeah, but still, I think we are in. I will settle for a second best candlestick. Yeah, so, but if not bad, I will trade this if it's still as bearish in 90 minutes time. But my stop loss will be at the test bar high. Yeah, won't be at the candle high. I usually don't like to put my stop loss in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, so that's Euro Pound and Pound Aussie to keep a lookout for. Let me have a look at the daily time frame. Yeah, it's a bonus to see that price actually has rejected off the horizontal level from daily charts. It's always a nice thing to have confidence from the daily chart. Pound Aussie, Pound Cat, I couldn't really recommend this, so I'll take this off the list simply because I couldn't bear the thought of trading straight into the weekly pivot. So let's get that out of the way. Pound Swiss and Pound Aussie, really similar tendency. Yeah, so between these two, now if I really have to pick, I will go for the cleaner chart, which is Pound Aussie. Yeah, so, but otherwise, if for some other reason that you guys, the listeners, if you have correlated, positively correlated other trades that you might have, then Pound Swiss will actually be an alternative for you. Pound Kiwi, we have missed the trade, so forget it. Now, dollar cat, I don't have a trade immediately set up here. What I'm waiting for is this to play out. Yeah, so in the event that dollar cat actually breaks, so whatever is happening here, I'm not really concerned. But what I want to see is for price to break, retest, so that I can go long. Similarly, over here, price break below, retest, and then I'll go short. Yeah, so essentially, that's what I'm waiting for. Don't have the habit of trading anything, any price actions or any price movement that's very, very near the monthly pivot and weekly pivots. Yeah, so I prefer to trade it when price previously has displayed that they're consolidating near. I don't really like to touch it, yeah, until it has cleared away. So this is a bi-directional depending on what happens next. Okay, so I guess that's it for me. With that, I'll hand it over to Alexis.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Lloyd. And welcome to Alexis, who's going to take us through all things Wave Rider on the hourly time frame.
Thanks, Chloe. Thanks, Lloyd. Okay, so I will share my screen and okay, got it. So I am actually waiting for Kiwi Swiss. So basically, this is the Kiwi Swiss pair that I have been waiting for. Earlier this morning, kind of missed this afternoon. Actually, I kind of missed an entry here, so I'm waiting for a second opportunity to go into this one. And if price is able to stay above the daily pivot with a bullish candle, then this is the entry that I'll take. But only on a so-called smaller risk percentage, because this isn't the best price to enter at this time. So on the hourly, there it is kind of trading in an upward channel, upward cyclicity, so to speak. But on the daily, I'm a little bit more cautious because price is consolidating just around the 200 EMA. So if today we can end above 200 EMA, then of course I will be happy to hold this for further. But if it doesn't break above the previous candle, then I'll be a bit conscious that it might find resistance off the top of the trend line and consolidate a little bit more. So this is on the longer time frame. So this will be a small risk trade. I think if it's only about a 15 to 16 pip to our first level of profit. But again, the moment we can trade towards the top of the trend line, I will leave a portion on the table and see whether this will turn into a breakout on a bigger time frame to trade it further to the upside. So I'm a little bit more biased to the upside for Kiwi for the medium or short term. The other pairs that I'm looking at, it doesn't really set up quite nicely, but Aussie Kiwi, the Aussies had very big candles today, so on the hourly it was a little bit difficult to want to trade those, so I'm going to give the Aussies a miss. Euro Aussie has been hanging around daily pivot. What this tells me is it's really consolidating, so it will break out to either up or down. On the larger time frames, probably I'm a little bit more biased to the upside because there is a lot of resistance over here on the daily time frame. You can also see that this price level over here has been tested pretty aggressively a couple of times already. So I am a bit more biased towards the upside, but for me to trade it on the H1, I kind of have to wait about at least a day or two till the daily pivot turns the other way. So it's watch and wait for the Euro Aussie for now. Euro Swiss, we do have a setup over here, but price again, it's a little bit choppy over here. And if you look at the daily time frame, you can see the Euro Swiss has really been consolidating or been really range bound for the last few months. In fact, since July on the daily time frame. So as long as price can stay below this area, then I will be happy to trade this short. But you can see that there is already a higher low formed on the H1. So I'm not too sure if this has enough momentum to hit further down, or will there be more consolidation? So again, I'm watching this to see whether I get anything better on the longer time frames. So I will only be keen to trade this short if we can, move away from the 200 EMA on the longer time frame. If not, for H1 for here, it's a little bit too close. It's a little bit too choppy, so not my favorite pair to trade. Euro Kiwi, same story again, a bit choppy. A lot of consolidation happening. On a daily time frame, again, if price can break towards the downside away from the 200 EMA, then I will be happy to take this short. But unless I get a new lower low, with all these higher lows, it just tells me there's a lot of upward pressure over here. So I'm not too keen to jump in short at this stage. All right, I don't think I will get very far. So my pair that I will be keen to trade is actually Kiwi Swiss at the top of the hour. Dollar yen price has already moved away. I mean, if I could have caught this earlier in the day, then yes, but price already has moved a bit too far. So I wouldn't look at this until maybe tomorrow and see whether we get a setup tomorrow. If price can break below this level on the larger time frame, then of course I think there is potential for more downside. So I'm zoomed out a little bit. You can see this is a very strong level of support. It's been here since July or even further actually, February 2018. Yep. So this is a really strong level of support over here. So if price can break below this level, then I'm just going to keep on trading it short on the hourly time frame. But it's too late for the entry now. I'll wait for tomorrow and see whether we can find a new daily pivot to bounce off. So for today, the only thing that's nearest to be able to trade would be the Kiwi Swiss, depending on the 8 p.m. candle, and if we can get a nice bullish bar, which means price closes nice and big over here, then I'll take a small risk on the Kiwi Swiss. That's all I have on the hourly time frame.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much for that, Alexis. I'm just going to revisit a couple of things myself. So I'll grab the screen back, and the couple of things that I wanted to revisit were Aussie dollar, because I did say I was looking for price to close on the 30-minute time frame. Now, I've actually opted not to take this trade. The reason is because looking on a 30-minute time frame, I do not wish to trade directly into the daily pivot without a decent reward to risk before that. And it's going to be probably about 1/3% reward to 1% risk if I were to enter on the 30-minute bar that has just closed. So that means I won't be trading that. The other reason I won't be trading that is because just looking at the 30-minute time frame here, there is a level of resistance. So we had this support here, resistance all the way through here. And so I'm not happy entering a trade just at this resistance. It doesn't mean price isn't going to go up. I do still believe in a bullish Aussie dollar for now, but it just doesn't fit with a conservative setup. And at the moment, I am trading very conservatively. So I'm not going to take that trade on Aussie dollar. I will be keeping a close eye on it, though, because what I would love to see is I'd love to see that daily pivot broken. And then I'll be looking for a retracement and a potential entry into that. So that's just a little update on the Aussie dollar. The other things that I wanted to update on, just these pound pairs, but price is moving pretty quickly at the moment and pretty strongly. So whether or not I will actually get a suitable retracement, it looks to me like price may even continue downwards without giving me my retracement. So that again is just going to have to be patience and wait. And if price retraces to the right area, then I'll look for a trade. If not, then I will reassess the situation later on. So that is pretty much us done for the Trader Talk Radio free original show, where you get a little insight into a few of the actions to wealth strategies. And with that, I am going to say thank you very much to Jeff. Thank you to Lloyd. Thank you to Alexis for their wonderful work on the Wave Rider and the Slingshot. And we, in just over 5 minutes' time, have Tea and Hot Sauce show coming up with myself and Orlando. So Orlando will be along to offer some market analysis. I'll be doing a little bit more market analysis in that show as well. So plenty more coming up for you on our free YouTube channels and on social media. Do stay tuned, and we'd love to have you along. And obviously, any questions that you've got, feel free to pop those into the chat box as well. So thanks, Lloyd. Thanks, Alexis. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we will speak again for this show in a fortnight's time.